Hey y'all, I'm coming at you on a Sunday night, March 17th. Apparently today was St. Patrick's Day, but with the flooding and everything, I could hardly tell that it was St. Patrick's Day today. Thanks for your love and concern, people. Nebraska is going through it. You're only hearing minimal about it in the news. I guess it's not sensational enough. But let me tell you about some music, and then I'm not going to make a real long one, even though I'm making this at night for it to upload. I'm going to go till I'm done. The reason why I'm saying that is because I have a lot on my mind besides music, and I don't know that I necessarily want to talk about it here. That doesn't mean I won't. I received a package. I told you I have stuff from Walter Whitney to review. Still not going to review it because I'm still taking it in, okay? But since then, I got another package from Europe. Ole Johnny Satrovic. I believe that's how you say your name. Ole. He's sent me music before. He's a big collector. Has a YouTube channel. If I remember to do so, I'll go look what it is and then post you the link to it. But among other things, he collects singles galore. Picture sleeve singles. I love picture sleeve singles too. And he's so nice that he sends stuff to me. And the latest package just came of some albums and some singles. I'll show those to you. I'm a big Siouxsie and the Banshees fan. Love Siouxsie. One of the best concerts I've ever seen was Siouxsie and the Banshees at Lollapalooza. They commanded. They just had a presence that just blew everyone else away. And their performance was stellar. He sent me 2 singles that I did not have. Dear Prudence, backed with Tattoo. Siouxsie and the Banshees have always done well at keeping their B-sides interesting. You fans notice that? And he sent me Peekaboo, backed with False Face. I dug getting this because this is I like label variations. I like the label Polydor. It's one of the oldest labels still in existence. And I've never had just a white Polydor as opposed to a white promo. And I don't see anything here that says it's a promotional copy. It's just a white label Polydor single. So he sent me those. He sent me a single I already have, so I'll pass this on. True Faith by New Order. I have most of New Order's very first singles. Ceremony and that stuff, amazing. Thank you. And then the last one he sent me is another, not quite a double for me. It's definitely an edition. It's the German single of Frank Zappa's Bobby Brown. And I say the German version because I have this on single already, but it's the Dutch version. And the German version has a different B-side. So here's Bobby Brown on the A side. And then what is it? Stick It Out from Joe's Garage, both. And on my other one, the B-side is Baby Snakes. So these are lovely additions. Johnny, thank you so much. He sent me some albums. We had one of them kind of surprised me. I'll get to it. Okay, so let me pull them up. There's one. There's 2. He sent me. Again, people are so kind. I really am honored and humbled by how kind you all are to me, sharing your lives with me and sharing music with me. Thank you so much. So Ole wrote about this. He saw me show an album by a Polish punk band called Dereck. And apparently their first album is kind of hard to find. It's not expensive, it's just kind of hard to find. But he found me a copy. Now, you may be wondering, well, I don't understand. What is this guy in Omaha? What does he want with a Polish punk band? I can't speak Polish. Not at all. Well, I'll explain to you that the way that I found out about Depress was they put out their album on the Uniton label, which is the label that I discovered Fra Lippo Lippi through. Do you know that band? Love their stuff. So consequently, whenever I'd see stuff on that label, if I could get it, affordably, I'd grab it. And the Depress, I didn't grab it. I've got the album over there. I've shown it recently. I couldn't understand the language, but that was beside the point. I felt the music, and also the music is kind of original. It's spiky and punky and aggressive, but it's tuneful too. Depress. This is pretty cool. First album on this label as well. Check that out. The Siberia label. I love this stuff. Being able to participate in aspects of cultures around the world without even leaving my home. That's always been the big thing I like about music and art. It's like traveling the world through this art, through this music. He sent me Finch, the progressive rock band Finch. I have they have 3 main albums. They have more than that, but Glory of the Inner Force, I have that one. But I've never had this on vinyl, Galleons of Passion. And this is an original English copy on the Rockaway label, is it? Rockberg Records, on the Rockberg label. And this is a melodic progressive fusion band. It's like there's a mixture of progressive and fusion. You can tell that they really like John McLaughlin. But it's not quite Mahavishnu. Good album. And then these last 2, way cool, way cool. What do they call them? Budget exploitive titles that record labels used to put out, where they would hire bands to do covers and just weird stuff trying to cash in on trends. So here's one, and these were made in Europe, German, both of these. A German label, Europa, which apparently was a children's label or something. I think, Sasha, you explained that to me. But this is Corporal Gander's Fire Dog Brigade presents On the Rocks. And this is some nameless group of musicians, likely some names in here, doing covers. There's Steeler by Free. I Hear You Knockin'. Paranoid by Black Sabbath. Hey You. Interesting. That's the best word to put for this. Interesting. But the other one, this is the cream. This is the one. I've been wanting a copy of this, actually, ever since I found out about it. It's a highly regarded psychedelic exploito album. Hell Preachers Incorporated, Supreme Psychedelic Underground. Yeah. There was talk that perhaps this was members of Deep Purple. Apparently it's the band, or apparently it is members of the band Lucifer's Friend. But I'll tell you, there's parts here where it does sound like Deep Purple. The organ. This is wild because these are not covers. This is where they've hired these guys to make a weird album, and it's weird. This is weird. I mean, it has some kind of what you'd expect, some psychedelic blues, but then it has these freak out tracks where it's like you don't know what they're doing. It's just weird. I love it. Ole Johnny Satervik, thank you so much for allowing me to own this album, which I've known about for decades. Hell Preachers Incorporated, Supreme Psychedelic Underground. In my collection where it ought to be. I do have a lot of psychedelic records. I don't have my collection by genre. Years ago I did. I understand that it does make sense that if you put things by genre, it's easier to find stuff. But years ago I decided I liked losing records, and I liked the panorama effect of seeing the different artists from different genres next to each other. You know, I'm looking over here and seeing, for example, Steven Wilson, you know, really close to Paul Winter. And then there's Wire. And then there's Phil Woods. You know what I'm saying? And then there's Tony Williams. Vinyl Williams, you know. That, as looking at spines, that's much more interesting to me. Great records. Can show you so much stuff, folks. So much. What's still sitting out here? Well, I was pulled this. I've had this for ages. The French legendary guitarist Django Reinhardt, whose hand was deformed in a fire, so he could only use 2 fingers basically to play. But if you've ever heard him, he's a phenomenon. You know, a phenomenon of melody, speed, invention, and and melodicism. Le Disque d'Or, Django Reinhardt. Have had this for decades on blue vinyl. I probably had this since maybe 1980 or so. And been corresponding online through Facebook mainly a lot about the flood with people. And doing so, it's a bit of an act of public service, trying to just pass on information and share stuff. So it is a bit stress-inducing. And so this was really nice to listen to today. I'll show a couple more records that I got half price. I did finally go back one more time, and it's like, I'll be suffering. I spent more than I can afford to right now. I'll recover. But it's always worrisome when you are on a limited income and you spend money on pleasure, and as soon as you do, it's like, oh, here's this need. Here's this necessity that money was meant for. Anyway, I did it. And I've been loving listening to these records. It's an absolute pleasure to play new records. Medicine. This is an album apparently of older tapes. Medicine 2.0. It's with a different girl. It's not with Beth. So this kind of messed me up when I picked it up. It's like when I saw it in the store and I looked at the cover, it's like this is Medicine, but there's something different about this. And so apparently these are like demos and stuff that they made back in the early 2000s with this different singer. The thing that stood out to me about this is that it doesn't sound like Medicine that we know. It's much creepier and more quiet and strange. And they do a great cover of a Devo song on here. Really neat. That caught my attention right away. This is not a half price, or it's just something I pulled. I needed to recover it, and then I played it. Joanne Brackeen is a jazz pianist who is completely overlooked. This woman is badass. She's really good. Really has a voice. She can improvise. She plays with the finest musicians. She's got Jack DeJohnette on drums on this. Joe Henderson really stands out. I was listening to this, hadn't looked at the credits. I'm listening, and I'm listening to the saxophone solo, and it wasn't too much longer. It's like, that's got to be Joe Henderson, and sure enough, because it's a prime date. It's not a slouch date. This is really good. Ancient Dynasty, and this is one of those cheapos. You find this cheap because she's overlooked. Joanne Brackeen. Is there some sexism going on here with this? You know, I kind of think so. I really do. I think there's a lot of isms that we deal with that are wrong. I'm just going to always bring it up. I don't care if you like it or not. It's got to be brought up. Here's something that I pulled. Actually thinking, I'm going to pull this out of my main section because I need space and put it in the closet. Then I played it because this is something I took a chance on years ago. I found it used. I had read about them. No, I had a promo CD by them that I thought was okay. This I really like. Black Heart Procession, Amore del Tropico. And this created a conversation online when I posted it today. Apparently I need to go back and listen to that other Black Heart Procession record I have, and another band that this evolved out of. This, I didn't pay attention to the words. It just had a good feeling. This is a 3-sided LP with the one side is etched. I think that's the main thing I'll say is how this left me with a good feeling. And just one song after the other was just good. There's the third side, and here's the etched side. Black Heart Procession is what it says. One of the joys of record collecting and taking chances, being curious about stuff, and then hanging on to stuff like this is the experience I had earlier today of listening to this record with the idea I'm going to be getting rid of it, and then going, wow, this is really good. I really like this. Black Heart Procession. I don't know that I've shown this, but this is another one from the half-price sale that is a fairly recent release. Chris Carter from Throbbing Gristle and Chris and Cozy. This is something of his called Chris Carter's Chemistry Lessons Volume 1. This is really good. I know kind of what to expect from Chris Carter, knowing his history. This is better than I was expecting. This is really good. He's using a vocalist other than Cozy Fanny Tootie, but it's the instrumental stuff. It's primarily instrumental that I like. It's a double album. It comes on 2 different colored vinyls. May as well show you, It's kind of cool about it. I am over colored vinyl. I don't have to have the colored vinyl versions of records. It's fun when you do. Some records do seem like, well, this ought to be on black, But this is 2 different shades of gray. 2 different shades of gray. And the whole album, I've listened to this all the way through. It just pops and bops and burbles. And it's beat-oriented, although there are some, not dance beat-oriented, but structured, you know what I'm saying? It's a world of its own. If you know Chris and Cozy, you know what I'm talking about. Chris Carter's Chemistry Lessons. Really good. This is recent. Get my magnifying glass and see. 2018. This is brand new. 2018. Yeah, I have to use this a lot. Old man. Getting me, old man. Trying to make room for stuff. This goes in the closet, not because it's not good, but because it's like I gotta rotate some shit. But I played most of this last night. Bee Gees Odessa. Good album. Not quite up to the par of their pop classics. But interesting. The song on here that is a repeater for me. Where is it? I Laugh in Your Face. What a cool song. And yeah, this is an original with the Velvet. Got a lot of love and respect for the Bee Gees, If you know their history, they started out as kids, like the Jackson 5. That's a whole nother story that I could talk about. Maybe some of you are interested. What does Dereck think about the recent Michael Jackson shit? I might go there. I'm going to say exactly what I think. I don't care if you like it or not. I don't. Here's one more, okay? Because I do have more to show. Here's one that I got at the last half price visit, the last one. I always overlooked this band because when I listened to them online, they never really did much for me. Although I said, this is pretty good. But I saw this recent album of theirs down there on clear vinyl. And I was able to get it for half price. I said, okay, time to get some Mogwai. Mogwai. And this is their album, Every Country's Son. I like this. It's not anything real amazing to me. What do they call this? Post-rock? My honest opinion of a lot of stuff like this, including Explosions in the Sky, is that even though I'm not that school of a musician, I know about feeling. And I think sometimes I wish I could play with these guys and kick this shit up a notch. I know exactly what this needs. That may sound egotistical, maybe it is. But if I had a chance to prove it, I could, because I do it all the time when I play in all the bands I'm in. Speaking of that, RAF had a great rehearsal tonight. We're having our first show of the year this upcoming Saturday. I'm actually having my first shows of 2019 this week. Thursday with Egypt. I got to rehearse for that. I haven't got that together yet. And then RAF on Saturday. And that's just a solid band. I love that band. You know, we like our music. We like playing. And so we just... I love that the whole band loses itself when we rehearse. It doesn't happen every time, but mostly it does. We lose ourselves in the music. We're not up there posing and preening. God damn, I like that. Real music. Real music. Okay, one more, then I'm going to talk about Michael Jackson. Here is a... I'll talk about this. I played this single from England back in the what was the time period? Because I was digging this time period. Was this the C90 time? Shop Assistants, 1986, mid 80s. Well, I like it all, but I loved the mid 80s going into the 90s. I liked that stuff. Shop Assistants. Oh man, Pastels. Pop Elite itself, all kinds of stuff. And this is Shambolic. I think it's a half and half girls and guys band. You can tell that they are not that seasoned of musicians, and it's just got that charm and it's good songs. I Don't Want to Be Friends With You. Real good. Okay, so some of you folks, you can turn off now because I'm going to give my opinion. And I'm sure my opinion, what I'm about to say, is going to make some of you angry. I don't give a fuck. Okay? Do you know the main thing I think is going on behind this recent Michael Jackson documentary and bringing all that stuff up again as if we didn't know that there might likely be something to it? What I see is more of the deliberate campaign to keep black men and black, how do I put this, important black figures down in history. Like I said, I don't care if you like what I'm saying. I feel this strongly as a black man, and looking at how our nation and the world is based on material values. In other words, we value material possession over human life. And so therefore it's a power play. Everything is a power play. And it's about protecting what I've got. And if you know anything about history, the whole system of money, almost planetary, has been fixed for a long time. Okay? It is not fair. Now what I'm saying is that in order for the victors to be the victors, there has to be an enemy. There has to be a loser. And the white dominant culture has definitely saw, historically, probably still does, sees the black man as an adversary, as an enemy. And systematically, things have been done over time to take the black man out, to eliminate him as a potential foe to white privilege. Michael Jackson, again, just hear me out. This is my opinion, okay? This is what I've experienced, this is what I see. So Michael Jackson, everything happened to him. His life exploded when he was a child, okay? The Jackson 5 everything blew up when he was a boy. Does not excuse his potential behavior. It's me saying I understand the potential behind why Michael Jackson was more than likely a boy lover, pedophile, particularly boys, because his ability to mature into a young man was completely cut off. I don't know this for a fact, but I surmise this, I think that has something to do with the great possibility that Michael Jackson indeed not only slept with boys, but had sex with them or around them in their presence because they turned him on. Victimizing children, no matter who you are, is horrible. It's wrong, okay? But Michael Jackson is fucking dead, okay? Exhuming his body and this whole controversy is not helping any current victims of abuse. That's my point. The main thing I see going on here is a smear campaign. I mean, it was enough that Michael Jackson tried to turn himself into a white person, literally, became a physical freak, because that's because of from my perspective, because of the madness of our culture and the dominance of whiteness. I used to want to be white when I was a little boy because I was like, man, they got it going on. I want that, And he would physically, ruin his face, ruin himself and his skin. I don't know what I'm saying? So I think that the whole purpose of bringing this up and making that documentary is heinous. The men who have recanted their stories back and forth, you know what I'm saying? The main thing I see is more damage to the legacy of a magical human being who happened to be a black man. And some motherfucker just can't have a black man in that position. They already took Bill Cosby out. Now, Bill Cosby did what he did, and that wasn't cool. But Bill Cosby got caught. This is what I got to say about him. Bill Cosby was stupid enough that when he got caught up in the Hollywood lifestyle to think that, I can do what the white people do. I can drug and fuck these. I almost said it. I was almost derogatory. That's what's going on. I've been in this world, so I know what I'm talking about. Bill Cosby was dumb enough, I say, foolish enough to just think I can get away with it and just get all this pussy and abuse all these and take advantage of all these women. With all the sexual abuse that's been uncovered by the church and everyone, who's going to jail? The black guy. I ain't got nothing good to say about R. Kelly, but look at, okay? And the deal is, man, it's such a double standard. It's such a horrible double standard. The Vatican's full of pedophiles. One guy, one bishop is what, doing months? Or how long is he doing? And everybody else is still just going on with the usual. So that's what I got to say about this. Defiling the memory of magical Michael Jackson does nothing to help victims of child sexual abuse. It enrages me as a black American to see this horse shit going on where they're constantly fucking with my people. That's exactly what's going on. That's exactly what's going on from my perspective. Shit. See, I told you. Got me talking.